Hi guys, before I get into today's video, I just want to give a massive shout out to Gabby's Arcanum. Hopefully I've said it right. She is a fantastic booktuber. She talks a lot about fantasy and she is very passionate about reading fantasy, and you can see it in all her videos. I have been a subscriber of her channel and a massive supporter of all of her videos for a while now, and I really love all her videos. As I said, she likes fantasy. She's reading, she's a massive Brandon Sanderson fan. She's reading all of the classic series such as Wheel of Time, and she is going to be reading the Lord of the Rings series, and she is a massive Harry Potter fan. So I will put a link down in the description to her channel. So please go over there and check her channel out. Subscribe to her channel. Watch all of her videos, comment on all of her videos. She is really friendly, and yeah, she's a really nice person, and she will always get back to you. So please go over there and show her as much support as you possibly can. Hi guys, my name is David. If you are new here, hi, welcome. And if you have been watching my videos for a while now, welcome back. So today I am going to be reviewing Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This is the first book in the Dresden Files series, which is about 17 books long. I read this because I am taking part and hosting a readathon called a Bookworm's New Year Readathon. And the prompt that this book fulfills is read a book from a different genre. And because the genre of this book is urban fantasy with a mystery twist to it, I don't really read that many mystery novels or detective stories, so that's the reason why I chose this for that prompt. I did try to read this book a while ago, many years ago, but I got about 50 pages into it and I DNF'd it because I didn't really mesh with the story, I suppose. You know, I'm not really sure. It was such a long time ago. But I'm pleased that I have read the whole thing and given Stormfront a chance. Also, I forgot to show this in my last video, which was my video on The Colour of Our Souls, where I did a review on that novel for this readathon as well. And I forgot to show you the bingo card. So this is what the bingo card actually looks like now for me. I've only completed 2 prompts with 2 novels. I'm expecting to finish the 2 Towers sometime today, which will complete 2 more prompts. So this book was originally published on the 1st of April 2000. Yes, April Fool's Day. What a day to publish a book, but I suppose that books get published on that day, you know, anyway. But I thought it was funny. And the genre, as I said, of this novel is an urban fantasy mystery book. And the author, Jim Butcher, he is an American author, and he was born on the 26th of October 1971. And he has written, apart from fantasy, he has actually also written some science fiction novels. But this is the first ever book that I have ever read by Jim Butcher. So before I tell you guys what the story is all about, I just want to say that this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and this is going to be my own personal thoughts and feelings regarding this novel. So when the story opens up, it introduces us to our main setting of the story of in the town of Chicago, which is more or less like our world, or I mean the world of this book is more or less like the world that we know it, but with some magical twists and elements to it, and it has loads of strange creatures and demons and all this weird and magical stuff lurking in the background, out of everyone's way and in the shadows. So the book opens up by introducing us to our main character called Harry Dresden, who is a PI, personal investigator or a detective. And he is also a wizard, the only wizard detective, as far as he's aware. Harry, at the beginning of the book, is barely scraping by. He is struggling to pay his rent, and he is struggling to survive. But he is doing his best with the current circumstances. So he's actually doing his best. Harry is a very likable character. He does get into scrapes a lot, and he gives me the impression that he kind of thinks on his feet a lot about how to get out of different situations. He's actually not a man with a plan. He kind of like makes it up as he goes along. So, man after my own heart. So at the beginning of the book, Harry gets approached by a woman who asks him to, or actually tells him rather, that her husband has actually gone missing. She doesn't know what's happened to him or where he's gone, and she goes to Harry and asks him if he could actually help. And at first, Harry's kind of debatable about whether this is something that he should do. He actually says, "Well, there's nothing. There doesn't seem to be anything magical happening here. Why can't you go to the police and they can sort it out for you?" And she just says to him that she has basically a feeling that there's some magical elements attached to her husband's disappearance. So Harry agrees to take on the case, and then then Harry is called away by a lieutenant called Lieutenant Karine Murphy, who is referred to in the book as simply called Murphy. Murphy is a female working for the police in this fictional city of Chicago, or this fictional version of Chicago, and she calls Harry when there's ever a special reason to call Harry. Whenever there's something weird that actually happens that they cannot explain or they cannot figure out and they need some help, they call Harry in and he gives them his personal advice from a wizard's point of view. And everyone's always like questioning about if Harry is basically BS and if he's making all this up, and if this wizard and magic stuff is actually real. But Murphy doesn't really care about that. She cares about on the case. She is very narrow-minded. Throughout this book, she is very determined. She's a very strong woman. She is extremely strong. She's incredibly narrow-minded, and she is focused on solving this case, which is this couple has actually been found in a hotel room, I believe, in the bedroom, and they have been killed in the middle of a sexual act. It's very graphic about how the scene is actually described. Basically, all their bones have been ripped out of their bodies, and they have died in the middle of having sex, and that's how they've been found in that sexual position. So Harry says to Murphy that give me some time and I'll have a look and find out what's happened to these people. And he goes around the town or the city, going to different people, asking about what's actually happened to these people, and he investigates it. Along the way, we come across numerous other characters that are really, really quirky and fun. One of these characters is a barman called Mac, who doesn't talk in a very articulate way. He talks in either grunts or short sentences or single words. He is a very funny character as Harry's trying to get information from him, and he's kind of grunting, and you're like, I bet this guy has loads of intelligent stuff to actually say, but yeah. But it's just how I found him. I found him funny. Another element of this book is the magic system. Unlike Mistborn, which has a very straightforward magic system, the magic in Stormfront so far is Harry has numerous other magical abilities. He has a staff which he carries with him all the time. You can see it on the cover. He also has what he calls as a rod. Now, throughout the book, I was thinking that the rod and the staff are the same thing, but I think that the rod was kind of like a short stick that he uses as a gun, and these can perform magical abilities such as when he goes into a bar, in this book, he actually uses his rod to shoot all this energy and pushes stuff out of his way in a very graphic way and very violent way. And he also uses spells and incantations. He draws like symbols on the ground to on the ground to perform magical feats. And throughout this book as well, the element of owning and saying someone's name or owning a part of their body, such as their hair, fingernails, blood, skin, that type of stuff, will give the user the ability to control that person for a limited amount of time. Also, while Harry's actually investigating the death of this couple that have actually died in this hotel room, he seems to be focusing more on that. And then I was thinking, well, aren't you going to be investigating the missing husband case? And it's at the time it seemed to be focusing on one case more than the other. And but are these two cases related to one another? Yeah, maybe not. If I can talk today. While Harry's investigating this missing husband, he entraps a fairy who is called Toot Toot. Toot Toot is a very coarse, funny character. He is not delicate. He's not Tinkerbell or anything like that. And he's attracted by food. That's how Harry traps him. And he traps him by luring him with milk, honey and bread. And then he's always talking about eating pizza. And I'm thinking, well, if I had a choice between pizza and milk, honey and bread, I would probably go for the pizza. There's also another character called Bob. Bob is this skull. And he's actually just a skull, and he has glowing eyes, and he can talk. He is very, very, very funny. He's always saying to Harry, look, you should get on with your love life. He actually keeps on saying to Harry that, because he goes to Bob saying that, can you help me make a potion, like an escape potion? And he said, right, I will make a potion for you, but I will also want to actually make a love potion for you, because I want you to get like a girlfriend and live happy ever after and fall in love and all that jazz. And I was going to say that he was actually trying to give like Harry a heads up or something like that, but I don't know. There's also another character called Morgan, whose full title was called Warden Donald Morgan, or throughout the novel we simply refer to as Morgan. Morgan is a warden from a organisation called the White Council. Now, the White Council, if you think about it more like the Ministry of Magic from Harry Potter, that is what my understanding about the White Council is. It governs all the laws, and it watches all over the wizards in community and the witches and all that. Well, I presume there's witches in this world. But it's responsible for actually keeping order between the magical world and the non-magic world. God, it does sound like the Ministry of Magic. So, so Morgan investigates and keeps an eye on Harry, because Harry, in his past, had a mentor wizard that turned to the dark side of magic, and he tried to take Harry with him. He tried to teach Harry dark magic, and Harry rebelled on this and killed his master. But he was acquitted for this, and he was let go. And Morgan is trying to keep an eye on him because he's extremely suspicious of Harry, and he's like saying, right, I've got my eye on you, I'm going to watch you wherever you go. And he's extremely suspicious of him. And he's always got a sword with him as well. And he is very, very cautious about what Harry is actually doing. So for the majority of this book, it's just Harry investigating these both these strange cases that, as I said, they may be connected, they may not. This book is written from the perspective of Harry himself. It's kind of like a diary, but it isn't in a diary form, if that makes sense. He's very observant. He is very observant about what people are actually wearing, about people's demeanors, and he's very descriptive about that. He's also this book is also very descriptive about situations that Harry's actually in. Like at one point in this book, he's actually describing about how Harry's actually feeling before he goes into a certain situation. So it's very descriptive about that. Also, I just want to point out as well that I've heard that Harry has actually been compared to being kind of a I wouldn't say a womanizer, but he doesn't like women. I just want to point out here, I'm just going to read something here that is going to squash the fact that Harry actually is very respectful about women. So this is what it says, if I can find it. Maybe my values are outdated. Maybe my values are outdated, but I come from an old school of thought. I think that men ought to treat women like something other than just shorter, weaker men with breasts. Which is kind of like a weird way of actually putting it. Try and convert me if I'm a bad person for thinking so. I enjoy treating a woman like a lady, opening doors for her, paying for shared meals, giving flowers, all that sort of stuff, or all that sort of thing. So that tells me that Harry is very old school. He's very throughout this book he keeps on saying that he has very old-fashioned values and ways of actually thinking, but he is very respectful about women. Yes, when he goes into situations where there's a lady there, he does describe how they actually look and what they're wearing, but he also does that with numerous men throughout this story as well. I didn't really see that as a problem. I saw that as purely because he is a detective and he is supposed to be a very observant, individual or person. So the stuff I liked about this book is, as I said, I liked all the quirky characters within this book that are kind of like side characters, such as Mac, Toot Toot, and Bob. But one of the outstanding highlights of this book for me was the relationship between Harry and Murphy. They are so incredibly, I wouldn't say close, but Murphy puts up with Harry, but when she's saying to him that please help me with this case or I will take you down and arrest to the station and arrest you, but on one side she is very gentle towards him. I'm pretty sure at one point he's actually drunk in this book and she takes him back to his apartment and lays him down and takes care of him and gives him a kiss on the forehead and basically make sure that he's okay. So she has a very caring side towards Harry as well. And I was like, these like two individuals are so they are such a good duo. They really are. And I just hope that in future books they actually will that relationship will evolve. And I would love for these two to actually go out on a date sometime and to have all these demons and vampires everywhere and they have to try to fight while they're having this romantic date. That would be a really, really good element throughout this story. But sadly, one of my biggest dislikes about Stormfront was that how incredibly slow it was. This isn't an action-packed book, guys. This isn't like Mistborn or insert here any high action fantasy novel that you have read. This is a very slow paced book. I personally found out that, for me personally, that the first 2/3 of this book were incredibly slow. They dragged a lot for me. But from the last third of the book, it picked up, it got more exciting, but it dragged a lot for me. It kind of was on the verge of being boring at places, and I might have DNF'd it if I wasn't doing it for a readathon, but it did drag for me. But as I said, it picked up a lot at the end of the book. So, closing thoughts. What did I think about my first mystery that I have read? Or technically, this is my second mystery that I read, because I read Snapshot by Brandon Sanderson, and that was a mystery novel as well. But this was my, but that was a novella. So this was my first ever mystery novel that I've read. This was an interesting book. Not the best thing that I've ever read before, but certainly not the worst thing that I've ever read before. It was kind of like in the middle. I'm very in the middle with this book. This book is simply, in my opinion, okay. I found out that, I thought that Jim Butcher kind of like had maybe struggled about trying to find out about situations in this book, about where it was going to ultimately go. He didn't seem to have a plan for this story or the world or Harry as a whole. He kind of like made it up as, I don't know if he like made it up as he went along, but that was the impression that I got from this book. Am I going to be reading the other books after this? I don't know. I know that the next book is called Full Moon, and that's got something to do with werewolves, which I'm extremely interested in. I might pick up because of that. I might give it a go. Let me know if Full Moon is any good. I have heard that the series picks up from book 4 and gets more action-packed and better from book 4 onwards. But I'm not sure. I might continue with the series. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm not really. I'm kind of like on the bench with this. But should you read Stormfront? Give it a go, guys. Read it. You might like this. You actually might simply think that it's okay. But if you want to read something different, if you're interested in fantasy and you've never read any urban fantasy or mystery fantasy, then I would read Stormfront. It's very short, it's not going to take you a long time to actually get through, and you'll either love it or you won't. So I am going to rate Stormfront by Jim Butcher. I was going to rate it at 2.5 stars, but because I said the ending or the last third of the book picked up dramatically for me, and should I be so bold, was exciting for me personally. It was exciting and nerve-wracking, and I wanted to find out what actually happens. So because of the ending was good, I am going to bump it up to 3 stars out of 5. So that's it, guys. That is my review on Stormfront by Jim Butcher, the first novel in the Dresden Files series. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, let me know if you've read this, let me know if you're interested in reading it, if I've maybe inspired you to pick it up. If you have read it, let me know what you thought about it, if you loved it, if you disliked it, or if you, like me, simply thought that it was okay. If you've enjoyed my video as a whole, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you do subscribe, please click on the bell notification just so you know whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. I will also have a link in the description down below to my Goodreads account in case you want to follow me on Goodreads. And with all that said, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.